Welcome, beautiful souls. This is the Spiritual Warrior Coach podcast, where intuition becomes your strength and your energy becomes your power. I'm your host, Barbara Savin, author, energy healer, hypnotherapist, and spiritual life coach, and I'm so grateful that you're here. This podcast is a sacred space where we explore intuition, emotional healing, healthy boundaries, and the practices that help us live with greater peace, clarity, and alignment. So if you ever felt overwhelmed or emotionally drained, this space is here to remind you that the wisdom you seek already lives within you. Because the truth is simple. Protect your energy, trust your intuition, and continue your journey as a spiritual warrior. So join me now as your host. So welcome everyone to the Spiritual Warrior Coach podcast. I'm your host, Barbara Savin, and I'm so happy that you are here. And I hope that you are taking this moment to just breathe, to settle in, and open your heart to whatever wisdom is meant for you today. And joining me today is the wonderful Mackenzie Foster. She's a tarot reader, psychic medium, and spiritual mentor whose spiritual awakening began in 2020 when one beautifully gifted tarot deck and a handwritten note that changed everything. And what started as a single moment of divine timing grew into the Mackenzie Collection, a sacred space for healing, guidance, and spiritual growth. And with years of professional um, expertise and a deep, lifelong connection to spirit, Mackenzie supports people in reconnecting with their intuition, finding clarity, and remembering the magic that already lives within them. And I am so excited for all of you to hear her story and the wisdom that she brings to this conversation. So welcome, Mackenzie, and I'm so happy that you're here today.
Oh my gosh, thank you for the amazing intro and thank you for having me, Barbara. You're truly an inspiration to me and such a comfort. I've been listening to your podcast this past week or so, binging it, and I love your energy. I'm honored to be here. And yeah, I can't wait to get started.
Well, thank you. And I was on your podcast a little while ago, and I was honored to be on there. And so, yeah, it makes me feel so happy inside to find like-minded people. And that's, I feel, what this is all about, is us finding people that are like us, healers and mentors, to be able to help others so that they know that the magic is always within them. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I totally agree. I had a podcast call for my podcast Divine Gossip yesterday. I had a call and the guest said the exact same thing. She was like, the podcasting spiritual world is such a great community to connect to. It's awesome. I agree.
So I know you're not that old. I mean, I know you're young.
No,
uh,
yeah.
and it's for me, it's so nice to see younger, souls like yourself getting into the healing modalities and intuition and psychic abilities. Well, let me ask, how did you first realize that you were intuitive and psychic?
Yeah, well, like you said in my intro, very beautifully. Thank you for that again. I kind of have had a connection with spirit and intuition and universal energies, God, however you say it, my whole life. So I feel like since I was really little, I say since I was born, I've just been super emotionally sensitive, like more so than anyone else in my family. And then when I turned 16, when COVID 19 hit in 2020, I was inside, quarantined like everyone else. And when a tarot deck fell into my lap from this practitioner on Etsy who sent it to me, um, when I started reading tarot, I was like, oh my gosh, like this just makes so much sense for me. My whole life also I was always told that I should be a therapist or like a massage therapist or something that just helps people feel better and soothe people because I've loved communication, like learning how to communicate with others and how the brain works and all of that. And then my mom who I'm closest to, raised me as like such a hippie, like barefoot, like I was like running around, didn't want to wear clothes, like all
Mhm.
that thing. Like I was so hippie my whole life. So I just kind of put those two worlds together and found tarot, and it branched from there. So I feel like have known I was intuitive my whole life, you know?
Yeah, which is a wonderful thing. Yeah, talking about hippie, I was also some of my days. But
Yeah.
yeah, when I look back, it was strange because people would
Yeah.
never know, but or believe it. But yeah, so
I love
does your
that.
mother also do like tarot and psychic readings? I'm curious.
No, she's not super spiritual herself, but she's so open to everything. She owns a marketing company, 217 Marketing, and helps a lot of spiritual businesses. Like we have a lot of like Reiki websites that we build. So she's super open to it, and like one of her tools that she uses in her business, she named Aquarius. So she's like into astrology and stuff
Oh,
too. So
okay.
it's just kind of something fun for her. But yeah, I'm lucky to have a mom who is so like open to me exploring all that, you know?
That believe me, it means a great deal.
Oh yeah. Insane. Insanely great. Yeah.
Oh yeah, believe me, I know. Now let me ask you, what does like a normal day in your spiritual practice actually look like for you?
Oh gosh, yeah. I feel like over the years I have explored so many different modalities and practices. Honestly, just to try to find what I love the most and what resonates with me the most. Because I think my goal in this whole spiritual journey is to become the most clearest, authentic version of myself. And with that, I've explored so much. So like nowadays it looks like I journal every day, no matter what. I feel like I either need to like get all my thoughts out on paper or do affirmations to kind of change my mindset if I wake up kind of in a funky mood or something like that. I've been loving journaling lately. And then some form of meditation every day is definitely something I love too, because I feel like that clears my energy. It like guides my energy where it needs to go instead of having it like stuck somewhere in my body or whatever. So whether that meditation looks like just taking a few deep breaths, or it looks like a grounding long meditation outside or something like that. Um, and I think what is something else I do every day, just to add a third thing here, I think of spirituality as like our humanness and our spiritual selves. So
Mhm.
I like to incorporate not only like the energy woo woo stuff, but also the physical body, like health and wellness stuff, that takes care of my human body. So I not non-negotiable every day physical movement is something that's really huge for me too. So yeah,
Well, yeah, it's all connected, body, mind, spirit.
absolutely. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's what we truly need to understand, that the body is controlled by the mind. If we do think negative about ourselves, we will start the day in a negative way.
Yes, and that's something that you said on my podcast that really like helped that click for me, because say I don't do my mindset or energy work for the day and then I go work out instead, I'm doing my workout all stressed out and like thinking about so much instead of just having a calm energy and mind so I can connect to my body better. So, and then vice versa, if I don't take care of my physical body but I do all the energetic spiritual work, it's hard for me to take action and feel healthy. And yeah, they go hand in hand for sure.
And there has to be a balance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I don't get to it all in one day, and that's okay. Sometimes I don't need it, and I stay true to myself with that. You know.
Mm-hmm. And I say, yeah, well, don't beat yourself up if you don't, because maybe it
Yeah.
was just not meant to be that day.
Yes, and when you get to it is when you're meant to get to it. Like I've actually struggled with that a lot. Is that perfectionistic like, oh, I need to journal every day and meditate and do my affirmations and blah blah blah. It's just like you need it when you need it. You know.
I always say go with the flow, and because
Mm-hmm.
if we look to do it and it's not meant to be, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I totally agree. That go with the flow has been my
Mhm.
motto for like a year now. I have it written down everywhere. Yeah.
I know that's been my motto for my whole life.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to be mine for the rest of my life
Yeah, right.
too.
Um, and it works because if I try to force something, I notice it goes completely crazy and wrong.
Oh
But
my
if I
God, yeah.
just, yeah, just allow it to be, and I always say it will be in its own spiritual timing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I've heard you say
Mhm,
that on your podcast a lot, and
mhm,
I don't realize I go by that so strongly, but I genuinely do. Like, actually, my boyfriend points it out all the time. Like, he like got a flat tire or something along those lines, or it's just like a little inconvenience, and he was like, "You don't have to say anything. I know everything happens for a reason." I'm like, "Yes, everything that happens is always gonna be in the right timing. Like, just trust." So instead of like
yes.
putting all that pressure on yourself to have it a certain way. It's hard to control.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know. I always say trust because there's a reason for everything. We may not know the
Yes.
reason at this moment, but there is.
Yes, and it always comes to light. Yeah.
Oh, usually it does. Yeah. So let me ask you, how would you describe what you do to someone, who's very skeptical about like, you as a psychic or a medium or doing the tarot cards?
Yeah, I like this question a lot because it's very relevant to my work right now because I still to this day after 6 years of doing this encounter people who see tarot as like something negative or not inherently
Mhm.
good, or there's all those negative connotations and stereotypes that can come with what I do. And I always like to tell those people who maybe sit down for a tarot reading or like judge it on social media that one, I'm always open to like open and honest, respectful conversation about what I do. And once I get to that point with them, like an open-minded conversation place, I always like to break that my story with them down because like I was saying earlier, growing up, before I knew anything spiritual, before spirituality came into play, I always just said, like, oh, I love communication. I love, being hippie and connecting to the earth. So I'll kind of use that language with
Mhm.
people who don't understand it quite yet. And then I'll be like, just like religion, there is faith in something greater, higher than you. Um, and you can talk to that universal energy or your higher self or your soul or your true self. Um, and also like use your psychology, science, quantum physics side of things too. Like there's a spiritual side and there's a scientific side, and I think I try to touch on both with people because I
Mhm.
use both. Especially because like so much of studies coming out nowadays has proven energy is real and everything holds an energetic pattern, right? So there's lots of avenues I'll go down with people, but I think I always want to get across that at the end of the day, it's like woo woo therapy is kind of how I'll describe it.
Yeah, because they still feel it's woo woo until you do it. And then all of a sudden they say, wow,
Yes.
I felt something.
Yeah, or they're like, "Oh,
Hmm.
it's not talking to demons or something." And I'm like, "No,
Hmm.
it's not. Why would I do that? I would never do that." So,
Exactly. Yeah, it's all
yeah.
angelic. It's all angelic
Yes.
beings.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
you'll know if it's not. Sorry, go
do
ahead.
you feel that that's one of the biggest misconception that people have about, what you do, with the tarot and psychic, abilities?
Yeah, I think that is the biggest misconception. Which is like nowadays is getting so much better. Like everyone is so much more open to like the chakras and the astrology and all of that, and like
Mhm.
tarot is people are open to it now. Um but yeah, I mean, you still get those people sometimes that look at what I do as and just assume that I'm working with something negative or whatever they think. So yeah, I would say it's the biggest misconception, but luckily most of the time I can talk them through it and help them understand that not everyone is like that, you know.
That's it. And I always say, when you're looking for a medium or psychic or healer, talk to them first and feel if it feels right for you. Because if it doesn't, then look for somebody else.
Yeah, yeah. I think we all can, uh, I think most of us can account for a time where we meet someone and something's just off, or like we just don't like them for some reason. If you're talking to a psychic or someone who's spiritual, any kind of practitioner that, and you're scared that they may like do something bad to you, most of the time your intuition will tell you if you should be there or not, or you know what I mean? So,
Oh, I know. I remember many years ago, I was interviewing someone who claimed to be a healer. Um, uh, to, for a job interview. And so I then asked her to do a session on me, a quick session. And the minute she called in that energy and touched me, I knew, nope, no, this one's, and I actually saw dark, very dark energy. And it was, and that was the first time I actually, really said to myself, all right, there is a true difference between someone who is truly looking to help somebody or looking it for gain. You know, you understand what I'm saying, to gain control or over
yeah,
that person. And that's
yeah.
what she was trying to do. And I think we were like maybe 5 minutes into it, and I stopped her and I said, thank you, but no, thank you. Your energy has shown me everything I needed to see. And yeah, and so
Yeah, yeah. And that
mhm,
yeah, that's the thing too, is you can be in a spiritual situation or place and you can leave and you're good. Like
mhm,
you have authority and boundaries in that way. And I also try to, teach people that, my clients that is,
mhm,
even when people like, cuz for example, my dad growing up, he thought that I was playing with dark energy and this bad stuff, and then therefore I'm susceptible to that.
mhm,
And I always teach my clients that even when you're doing energetic work, you have authority to put up boundaries between you and the spirit world of like, I don't want this energy,
mhm.
so mote it be, there we go, so it is, So you have to also have that belief of like, I can get myself out of this situation if I need. And I totally have encountered people in this space who I believe aren't the greatest people to be doing this. They're either
Yeah.
in it for money or just not being very ethical, which is sad, but there's also love always wins. There's so
Yes.
many beautiful practitioners as well. So,
Well, that's it. Love
yeah.
always wins. And yeah, but yeah, it's important for us to be able to say, mm-mm, walk away if it doesn't feel right.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so now you have
Yeah.
a whole business. So let me ask you, what actually made you decide to turn your spiritual gifts, into a business?
Yeah, I think my whole life I've wanted to help people in some way. Like, even when it comes to, this is kind of random, but even when it comes to being a mom, like, I've never wanted to have a kid. I've always wanted to adopt a kid. Like, ever since I've wanted to make a lot of money, I've always wanted to, like, give most of it to charity. And I'm not saying that to be like, I'm such a good person, but I'm just saying
Hmm.
like something in me has always just wanted to make the
Yeah.
world better
Hmm.
because I think I attribute that to like being so sensitive when I see the bad things happening in the world. I'm like, oh my God, I want to help so bad. So I think once I figured out how to read tarot, honestly, I don't even remember asking myself the question of, oh, do I want to do this for a living? It literally just started happening naturally. Like I started reading tarot one day, and then the next day I was telling my mom about it and being like, and then she was like, oh my God, you should read my cards. And I was like, okay. And I just started reading her friends and then my friends and my best friend at the time. I did my first reading for her. I my first reading for someone else was for my best friend at the time, and she actually told me, oh my God, like you have a gift. This is insane. How did you know all this? Even her being my best friend, I picked up on things she's never told me before, thought she was having, she's never said out loud, you know? So I think having the right people in my life definitely encouraged me. I see that now. But yeah, I think it naturally happened, which is such a blessing
Beautiful
and
thing.
awesome to be able to say, because I feel like it fell into my lap and it just transformed naturally into, oh yeah, duh, like this is what I meant to do because I love it and I'm good at it.
And you
So
accepted it. Yeah. So let me,
yeah.
there's so many different type of tarot cards. When do you know like what is the right one to use for someone? I'm just curious.
Like different
Yeah.
decks.
Different decks, yeah.
Yeah, so I have a collection right now of over like 70 different card decks, and they're all stacked
Wow.
on bookshelves. And what I
There's I didn't know there was actually
I
that
have a problem.
many. Wow, okay.
Oh, it is. I have a problem. Yeah.
Okay.
I I right now my process is literally like when I call in a client's energy, I like run my hand over a deck and then like one feels like I'm drawn to it and then I pick that one. So there's that, but I also like when it comes to different card decks, whether it's oracle cards you're using or like affirmation cards or tarot cards, whatever decks that you have access to, um, I just think I believe that every card deck holds a certain like quote unquote personality or energy. And to me, being able to read people's energy so well and their vibe, their emotional state, whatever, I match those together, you know? So there's that. And then when it comes to picking tarot cards, I actually am making a tarot mastery course right now, and it's going to be up on my website this month, which is very exciting. And in that, I talk about how I talk about a million things that have to do with tarot, but when it comes to actually picking the cards that you're reading for yourself or someone else, there's so many things that go into that of like how you shuffle the cards, whether they pop out themselves or you pick them. And that's what's so beautiful about tarot is your intuition can play a big role, or you can kind of let the cards do their magic as well. So did that answer your question?
Oh yeah, it does. Have you ever had encountered when you read somebody and then they looked at you and said, "Oh, this is all wrong," and then all of a sudden, like a few months later, everything came to play for them?
I've definitely had scenarios where I say, so I've never had a reading where like nothing makes sense or a lot of it doesn't make sense. Like that doesn't happen, thankfully. Um, but there are parts of a reading where like one little thing I'll say, they're like, how does it make sense? And I'm like, well, why don't you hold on to that for the future? And
Mhm.
then absolutely, they're like, a couple weeks, months later, they're like, oh my God, I know what you meant now. Thank you so much. And I was like, there you go. So yeah, sometimes they do read into the future. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about. I mean, I have some tarot cards also, but I've never used them for some strange reason. I'm not quite sure why. Um, do you feel that you get more messages doing the tarot cards versus what is being downloaded to you?
Let me let my cat out real quick. Hold on.
Oh yeah, good.
Hey, buddy. He's like scratching at the door trying to get in.
Oh no, we don't want him scratching at the
Um,
door.
no, we don't. He's crazy. Um, so wait, your question was, do I get more messages with tarot or without tarot, kind of?
Yeah, yeah, I was curious. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a big goal of mine this year is to stop much. Not that that's a, I think there is a reality where I connect more with my own channel without relying on external tools. I think
Hmm.
that'd be pretty cool. I don't mean it to sound like using tarot makes you like less advanced or whatever, but yeah, I think sometimes personally I do see myself like hold my gifts back a little bit by just leaning on tarot instead of like my own intuition. So
Hmm.
I think right now I definitely get way more messages using cards because it's just easy like have a physical tool to kind of read off of.
Hmm.
Whether I see like images and that sparks a message, or I like um, feel a meaning more strongly than others, and then I that kind of helps my psychic abilities come through more. Hopefully that's making sense. But yeah,
Oh, yeah, it does. Hmm.
I definitely okay, good. I definitely have like both abilities for sure. There's been plenty of times where I sit down and I do mediumship for someone with no cards and it's straight from my channel and I speak it out loud and it makes sense. So, yeah, there's that.
Yeah, I was asking that because that's what I was picking up, that your intuitive abilities are very much there.
Oh, really? Thank you. Yeah, I
Yeah, so
actually
that's why
get
I asked
told
the
that
question.
a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah, I definitely am stepping more into that for sure because which is scary for me as you can probably tell because my I don't know if you know about numerology, but there in numerology, which is the study of numbers, and like each number has a meaning for people who don't know. Um, and numerology, everyone has a personal year number, which is like your birthday combined with the date of like what we're in, like the year that we're in, and then like every year you have a personal year number. And this year, my year number is 7, which is like the spiritual awakening, like spiritually heightened number in numerology. So anyway, I went into 2026 knowing that like my spiritual gifts will be challenged, and I'm actually taking a course this year starting Sunday from a woman who reminds me a lot of you actually, who told me the same thing of like your intuitive gifts can probably do without the cards now. And yeah, so anyway, there's that too.
Oh, well, good for you. Yeah, because I could
Thank
sense
you.
that. And I even felt that when we did our interview.
Thank you.
And I says, oh, she has definitely abilities there. And yeah, not don't be afraid of them. Um, whatever spirit does allow us to hear, that person needs to hear it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's definitely what, and that's the thing that would be awesome for the listeners to hear too is whoever's you listening, um, it's a great thing to start just trusting your channel. And it's interesting how like even someone who's been doing this for years and who teaches this to people can still struggle with the humanness of like getting in your own way of letting messages come through and all that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's 100% true. Believe me. Yeah, I know for myself, I now when I hear, I do not discard it. I know there is a message there that I need to hear and not poo-poo it, and say, all right, I do hear it, I understand, and I need to follow through. Because I've noticed even for myself, when I do not follow through, is when I actually get into a little bit of a mess.
Yeah, and I've noticed that even in my personal relationships, like outside of helping clients, like even with like I think I'm ready for more openness with my channel without the reliance on tools because I'm seeing those that play out in my personal life outside of my business
Mhm.
and outside of my spiritual practice. Like with my boyfriend, I'm finding my voice, like I'm just saying what's on my mind, and when I'm in romantic relationships, and um yeah, just speaking my mind more and being more comfortable with opening my throat up is definitely helpful in all areas, I think. Yeah.
Oh, it is. And setting boundaries and speaking our truth and not being afraid to say something. Of course, we want to say it in a very loving and kind, as best we can way, but to not be afraid to use our voice because
Yeah.
it's so important to use our voice.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. Hmm.
So, do you feel that with some of your clients, some come uh, filled with anxiety, what is actually the difference between, their intuition and anxiety, and how can people actually tell the difference of which one they're actually experiencing?
Yeah, I actually, this is probably my most number one asked question. Probably because as I've had my business and as I've helped people in the spiritual space, I find that my clients kind of mirror me in a way and like mirror what I may be going through at the time or have gone through. And for me, I actually have had what's called GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, basically since I was like 10 or something like that. So I've struggled with anxiety my whole life in big and small ways. And being an intuitive, I think I caught on really quickly what the difference is, how it feels different in my body, how it sounds different in my head, how it comes out differently in my actions. With intuition, I always tell clients that with intuition, and yeah, I'll start with intuition. That's more of like a calm voice. It'll never scream at you like anxiety does. And it's
Yes.
never going to be like,
Mhm.
what if this and what if that? It's not going to feel so rushed or pressure or like a stuckness constriction in your body. And with anxiety, obviously, it's the exact opposite. Um, Anxiety is all those things, and intuition kind of is quieter. It's never yelling at you. It's never putting you in fear. Even if it is, you get an intuitive message within you or about yourself or about someone else. If that message is like not a very favorable outcome, but it still feels like intuition speaking to you, it's more of an acceptance that you have with that feeling coming through. With anxiety, it's like you're catastrophizing and like thinking the worst to try to protect yourself. It's kind of like ego versus your true self, your soul.
Yeah, that's it. So the people that come to you, do you feel that sometimes they become, because they don't trust their intuition, and they feel it's anxiety, do you feel that they become dependent on readings or psychics?
Um, yes, I've definitely have had a lot of conversations with people about not relying on external validation and external reassurance. I always, in every single reading, have made a point to teach someone that I'm reading how to do this themselves,
Hmm.
or at least give them resources where they can go and learn, because I, I don't ever want to be someone who, and I think that's bringing up what we kind of was talking about earlier. There's a lot of psychics and readers out there that are like, if you don't come see me like all the time, then you're never going to know what's going on. It's kind of fear mongering, right? So
Hmm.
I always try to leave my clients feeling empowered and not reliant on me. Um, yeah, because I mean, it's also like treat others how you want to be treated. I'm not gonna, I don't want to go to a reading and like leave feeling scared and like I have no solutions and like I have to keep giving someone my money to feel clear and have clarity. So I'm never going to do that to someone. Um, yeah, I've definitely had a lot of conversations with clients who like are like repeatedly booking me like over and over and over again, like days in a row, and like asking me the same question over and over again, and I'm like, hey, this isn't going to change unless you do something about
Yes.
it, or
Hmm.
it's personal to, it's depends on every situation, but like, yeah, I really try to have boundaries with those situations and ultimately to have them leave empowered.
Well, yeah, I feel the same way, because I know when clients see me and I do an energy clearing or healing on them, and when they ask, "Oh, when should I come back?" You'll know when you need to come back. I'm not one to say you need to come back every week, because it's not about the money. It's about you shedding your layers and being able to help yourself heal and be independent, dependent on yourself, not on somebody else. So it's so important that people understand that.
Yes, yes, and it's important for the sitter, the person being read,
Hmm.
or the receiver of energy healing, to recognize like when someone is trying to not. I don't mean to fearmonger as I say this, but
Hmm.
like unfortunately there are people who are in it for more greedy reasons. So yeah, I definitely encourage people listening, if you're going to go see a healer or a mentor, to make sure they're teaching you how to do it themselves instead of teaching you how to be reliant on them. And
Exactly.
I think that like also being in part of this space as a mentor, if I feel like if I were to be in this for greed and just the money, I wouldn't be a very happy person.
Mhm.
So I'm not gonna ever do that. You know what I mean?
Well, believe me, I do. I've never done that because it's against who I am. And
Yeah.
and some people I've actually said not to come back to,
Mm-hmm.
or sent them somewhere else to somebody else if I knew it was time to let them go. So yeah, we need to be authentic of who we are in order for it to really truly help somebody else.
Yeah, yeah, it's a matter of, are you in it to help others and to
Mhm.
grow and expand the world, or are you in it for superficial reasons? Because yeah, we also have a responsibility as healers to recognize when boundaries need to be set, or
Mhm.
when someone's ready to flee the nest, or fly, whatever that saying is.
Mhm. So let me ask you, so why do so many people actually experience spiritual awakenings during periods of chaos or heartbreak? Because I'm sure that's probably when people come to see you.
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
I have always been thinking about this. I always think about this. I did a whole episode on my podcast about this, actually, about, I touched on it in an episode where I was talking about spiritual awakenings aren't always pretty, because when I had my spiritual awakening, which basically just means when I got into spirituality, um, I was very blessed in my path towards all of this. Like I was supported, nothing bad happened, nothing challenging happened in my life for me to have this opportunity, and but everyone who comes to me, and that's why I also made my spiritual awakening 101 course, because I have encountered so many people who spirituality just kind of falls in their lap and they're like, where do I start, where do I go, I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that, and I just feel so called to this, like, help me. So yeah, I've seen like some examples I've seen are, I had a lot of clients, have a lot of clients in that course who have lost loved ones, and then they're like wanting to contact their loved one in the afterlife. So they're like, oh, like, let me get into mediumship or spiritual practices and how to communicate with spirit and stuff like that. So there's that scenario, which I totally understand, and like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. So it's kind of that connection to life after death that can kind of get you into this for sure.
Mhm.
But I also feel like when it comes to, a tragic loss like that, or something traumatic happening, or kind of like a tower moment, to reference tarot, happening in your life, I think people can get so rock bottom feeling that they're like, I am drawn to something that is pure faith and love and light, and I want to learn how to better myself and better my life through that, because it's like there's nowhere to go but up. And that's kind of how I think about it. But how do you what do you think about that? I'm actually curious. Like, have
Yeah.
you experienced people who are in that space?
Most of my clients come to me in total chaos, and
Right.
I feel many a times it's that chaotic feelings that makes us step back a little bit and say, all right, what is it that I need to change about all this? Because I
Right.
know even for myself, growing up with all the spirituality and not having anyone to help me, I
Mm-hmm.
was in complete I was out of control. I wasn't sure what was my next step. And then I sat back and I said, all right, what is it that I need to change or see for me in order for me to feel different about being in this chaotic situation. And I feel in my heart the chaotic situation is there to actually help us to grow.
Oh, for sure. I totally agree. That's
Hmm.
the everything happens for a reason thing, and even if you don't know the reason now, it'll show up because
Hmm.
yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because even when I look back, I said, all right, I was supposed to go through all this craziness, which have been through to get to the point that I finally got to in my late 40s. So, and
Exactly.
then finally step into my authentic self in my 50s. So I always say, don't be afraid. Everything again happens for a reason, and not to be a victim of the circumstances, and to know that there is a deeper meaning in all this that we need to see, feel, and yes, it may be very uncomfortable, uh, but something so much more better is coming out of all this. If you can just hold on, you could say.
Hmm. Yes,
Hmm.
absolutely. And yeah, it's getting into spirituality gives you a chance to rebuild into who you're meant to be and who you want to be. So, yeah,
Oh, I
it's a
know, and it's
beautiful
it's a
thing.
beautiful thing. Believe
Yeah.
me, it's a beautiful thing. I know even now, I mean, thank you, God, I'll be 78 this year. And I say to myself, okay, we're still, shedding. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. And yeah, life every now and then throws a curveball,
Hmm.
but I don't be a victim of the curveball. I look, what is it that I need to learn from this?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree.
So, do you feel that being with all this, that self-worth plays a very important part of spiritual development?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I think that's the one of the biggest themes I see in myself and in other people around me in personal life and in my business. I think that actually my best friend and my best friend owns a spiritual in-person space called the Holistic Treehouse, and I go there all the time to do work and events and stuff like that. And one day I was there and we had this deep conversation about how self-worth is tied to literally everything if you think about it deep enough, like literally everything. um yeah, I mean, even taking the example from earlier, not to repeat myself, but just top of mind, learning how to speak my truth and to not hold back my voice. Like, okay, well, why do I feel the need to kind of filter myself or hold back what I want to say? Is it because what I think is not good enough? Or, like it's always kind of tied to a belief
Mhm.
about your worth and who you are and how good you are or how much you're worth. So yeah, I think so. And there's what's cool about tarot too is there's so many cards that represent self-worth. Like I know the Empress card is represents like divine feminine energy, the mother archetype, and she talks a lot about um, self-worth. So I know when that card comes out, um, that person definitely is dealing with themes of owning their worth and owning how beautiful they are inside and out, you know? So, yeah, it's a big one. I actually also share with my clients a lot that what I'm not I don't know if whoever's listening is familiar with the chakra system, but you have seven chakras, and the middle one is your solar plexus chakra, which is like right in between where your ribs splay apart. And that's where I feel all of my anxiety, and that's where your self worth lives. So, a couple years ago, I made that connection. So, it's like even my daily struggles of anxiety, when I get like anxiety spikes throughout the day, I'm like, okay, where is my like self worth wound like feeling triggered right now? And I do some reflection on that. So, yeah, self
Yeah,
worth is
the
huge.
chakras play a huge part, from the root chakra, which is tribal. Then, you come up to this sacral, which is all about, insecurities, fears, guilt, doubt. And then, of course, the solar plex, your self-worth, self-esteem. The heart is about forgiveness, acceptance, and love. The throat is about speaking your truth. Then you have
Mm-hmm.
the third eye, which is, opening your intuitive abilities, and the crown, which is all the messages that do come into us. And there's so much that there is to learn about all that, where then we understand why we're having certain challenges in our life.
Yes, absolutely. And there's that mind body connection again, too. Because, say someone has a health issue in one area of life, that might be connected to some kind of energetic or emotional struggle.
So, have you learned through your spiritual work that, what has completely changed how you live your life?
Oh, gosh.
I know it's a big question.
Because it's like a million things, you
I
know
know.
that. Yeah, like,
Uh-huh.
um, what has completely changed how I live my life? Oh my, well, I mean, taking time to absorb information in an intentional way about this stuff changes how I think and move throughout my day. So like even just talking about the chakra system, like I continuously put myself into spaces and into conversations where someone is teaching me those things or I'm hearing that over and over again. And then, my brain holds on to it and I'm like, oh, I can reference that information and better my life using that information. So um, I think just opening myself up to learn and to be open minded, I think that's like my number one quality is how open minded I am. Like, no matter how religious you are, or how atheist you are, or how conservative you are, whatever it is, like, I am willing to learn from you. I think that has changed everything in my life, and I think that's like the most beneficial thing people can carry with them from this episode is like, if you're open and willing to learn, and then information will resonate with you or not resonate with you, and throughout time that information affects how you live. Does that make sense?
Oh, so 100% making sense, believe me.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would
because
say.
that's how I live my life too. So, and I also, if it feels right, then it's right. If it doesn't, then you need to walk away.
Yeah, yeah. And over time, you just collect more and more things that resonate with you and that make you feel amazing and that,
Mhm.
help the world and help yourself. And therefore, you change in the best way. So.
So, where can my listeners get a hold of you? Where are you located?
I'm located in Virginia Beach,
Oh,
Virginia.
Virginia. Okay.
Yes, I do in person events and in person readings at the Holistic Treehouse in Chesapeake, Virginia. But they can find everything at the mackenziecollective.com. I have courses and sessions you can sign up for with me. I do lots and lots of things. I have my own podcast. I have my YouTube channel where I do paranormal investigations and the video version of my podcast. I have a bunch of social media. I'm always on. I'm always going live, or I'm always doing something. So I got a lot going on.
Like a lot going. So you do paranormal
I do.
investigations.
I do. I was
Oh, I didn't
married.
know you do that.
Oh
Oh.
yeah. That's why I love hearing you talk about your house clearings that you do because that's my jam. I love that
Yeah,
stuff.
boy. Yeah, I've been to homes where there's a lot of spirits that shouldn't be there that are there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I used to go to, I think it was, where the Mardi Gras is. Why can't I think of the
Oh,
uh,
New
New
Orleans.
Orleans? Yeah, I've been there a few times. Um, this is many, many years ago, doing paranormal, um, happenings and clearing,
Ooh.
energies back there. Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't do
that's
that any longer, but
no.
now
Yeah.
I just go to individual homes and clear energy because it is real. There are spirits, as you know, that,
Mhm.
of course, they all walk amongst us every single day, but some need to go to the light and shouldn't be in this realm with us.
Yes. Yes. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. I've always wanted to go to New Orleans. I'm jealous. I'm so excited to go.
So I'm curious. Let's just touch on the paranormal a little bit. What do you do? When are you do you physically go and clear?
So I've done that before. I've only done that like once or twice. I
Okay.
I do so I've crossed one of my best friend's grandmother before because they were experiencing some like just her paintings they had kept being moved, and they would hear like bangs and footsteps, like she was still walking around her house. So I talked to her. I had no idea about her, like, because I'm a medium too, so I'm
Mhm.
always talking to passed away loved ones, whether they come through readings or whether I go to their house and speak to them and cross them over. But then yeah, on YouTube, I've that's my camera set up right here. I don't know if this people
Oh, I
can see
see
in the
that.
video,
Okay.
but yeah, I do. I go to haunted places. Like, for example, one video I went to my friend's haunted apartment complex, their basement. They let us in the basement, and I talk to spirits in there, and I have ghost equipment, and I try to catch evidence on camera and also use my skills, like my gifts, on camera too. That's been a passion since before I was spiritual. I loved watching ghost hunting videos when I was little, so now I do it. Yeah.
Did you ever get afraid? I'm curious.
Um, oh my God, yeah. Actually, you know what's really weird about me is I'm really afraid of the dark, and I like the adrenaline that comes with it though. Like, I'm getting better at that. You'll actually hear in my videos like, "Oh my God, I can't do this. I'm so scared." My friends are like, "What are you talking about? You're literally a medium. You're fine." And I'm like, "Oh right, I'm fine."
Well, we need to trust that we are spiritually protected.
Yes, and I've
Yeah.
seen hardcore evidence of me being spiritually protected. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Oh yeah, believe me, I've been there, done that, and everything else. So yeah.
I
Oh yeah,
love that.
you have to go into a home or wherever you go, knowing without this, it has to be no doubt in your mind
Yeah.
that you are protected. Otherwise, do not do it.
I actually am totally finding that out. Yeah, I haven't ghost hunted in months because I just feel like I have to be in the right energy for it.
Mhm.
And yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Okay, one more time. No, this is another whole conversation. Where can everybody get a hold of you again? Do you do Zoom? I wanted to ask you. Do you also
Yes,
do? Oh,
yeah,
you do? Okay.
yes, absolutely. The MackenzieCollective.com has virtual and in-person readings, has all virtual courses. I have my Spiritual Awakening 101 course that's out. If you're just learning about all this, it's for beginners in this field. There's that. I have my Tarot Mastery course coming out this month, rolling out this month. All of my Instagram, my TikTok, my YouTube is at the Mackenzie Collective. Yeah, I everything you'll find is in there. Everything I do, you'll find at that website link. And yeah, you can listen to Divine Gossip on wherever you're listening to this now. I'm on the same platforms as Barbara, so
Well, thank you. Oh, we're going to have another conversation
I
about the
would love that.
paranormal
I
because
would love
that's
that.
yeah, that's something completely different. But
Yes,
thank you so much for coming today, and for sharing your story, sharing your gifts and your heart with us. And these are the kinds of conversations that remind us that we are never alone and that guidance is always available and that the magic we're seeking is often already within us, just waiting for us to listen. So, to everyone listening, I hope this episode inspired you to trust your intuition a little more, to stay open to the signs and nudges from spirit, and to be gentle with yourself on your own spiritual journey. And if this conversation touched you, please take a moment to reflect on what resonated most and maybe even ask yourself, what is spirit trying to show me right now? So, again, thank you for spending this time with me on the Spiritual Warrior Coach. And please like and subscribe this channel. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who could use a little encouragement or magic in their life today. So, until next time, take care of your energy, trust your inner wisdom, and remember you are supported, you are guided, and you are never, ever walking alone on this path. So, sending you all so much love, light, and healing. Love, Barbara.